Well, that was that, and there was even an interception by Dak today as the Cowboys got cooked in Buffalo in the precipitation.
Yeah, man, that was just a good old fashioned American ass whooping. Um, we need to, and again, we can't do anything about this overnight. It won't happen right away. But I'm tired of every year talking about how bad we are against a run. We stop a lot of decent players from going off on us, and we've stopped some great running backs from going off on us. But there's also a couple that go for 200 yards on us, and um, from the very beginning of this game, we looked stupid, sloppy, scared, anemic, not doing a damn thing, no execution. It's almost like you could say we absolutely blew whatever energy and motivation we had to beat Philly and absolutely had nothing left to come into this game with.
I'm gonna tell you what I think it is, Bob. Can I just tell you what I think it is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we had those referees that were supposed to be on our side this week, like the referees were supposed to be on the side of the Eagles last week, and it looks like the same thing that happened to the Eagles last week. Well, I mean, except for those three personal fouls that ended up in touchdowns that kind of changed the momentum of the whole game. I don't know. That's just me. Y'all know I'm not one to say the NFL is rigged, but when it comes to the over under today and also the flags, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, baby, because in that first half, them three personal fouls. Now, I'm going to say the Cowboys shot themselves in the foot. I won't blame it all the way on the refs, but man, three personal fouls that result in touchdowns after the fact, you can't win no game like that.
No, you can't. You can't hammer those three personal fouls at the beginning of the game and then not have an answer for what is about to happen to you defensively on as a defense. That was really tough. We just didn't execute at all. We did absolute shit. We came into this game and did nothing until 2 minutes left with the game. With the game left, 2 minutes, CD Lamb runs a little bit of a route, and there was absolutely nothing we could do to answer their run game, and they didn't even have to bother passing after a while because they were just getting 7 yards a carry, 8 yards a carry every time. No run defense at all.
I mean, if you take a look at the total numbers, I mean, it's just ungodly. I mean, 351 yards of offense for the Buffalo Bills, 85 passing. The 266 on the ground is the one for me, though. Because I told you the key to victory going in today, could the Cowboys, like my guy Bob, opened up and started talking about, we can't stop a bloody nose with Jonathan
266
Hankins
yards.
or without Jonathan Hankins or with Mozzie or the guy on the practice squad, anybody. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys got cooked by and torched by Mr. Cook over there tonight. I mean, the 266 yards on the ground, Jesus Christ, nobody can win if you allow somebody to run 266 yards on you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're talking about Josh Allen throwing in there for a few yards too. How many do you have? 24
Yeah, 7
yards.
to 15, 94 yards and a touchdown. He also, I believe, had a rushing touchdown too as well. But James Cook, 25 carries, 179 yards, 7.2 average. I mean, come on.
So these statistics right here are normally what you would see our team doing. The Cowboys would be doing this. They would be spreading the ball around not only on the ground, they'd be spreading the ball around in the air just like the Bills did. But after a while, they didn't need to do it anymore. They out executed us. They were a better coached team today. I think overall more than anything. Now they executed as a team, but I think they were prepared better for us, way more than we were prepared for them. And I know that we could talk about crowd noise and all that other stuff. That shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it was today also. Once we got behind, we didn't have anything. We had absolutely no answer for their too deep safety, and that they kept every single play in front of them. And I don't know, man. It felt like we didn't get off the fucking bus today, man. We looked like absolute trash. It felt like they told everyone, "Hey, we clinched the playoffs" right before they got on the bus today. So that they were like, "Oh, cool, then we don't have to real play hard at all." Cool. And then they
I'm
just did
gonna
show.
blame it on anybody today. I'm just gonna blame it on the pizza joint that the Cowboys got that was, particularly poisoned, I guess. But we're not gonna create no excuses. But I'm just saying that's pretty scandalous if that's the case. To go to those types of length. I mean, it's not like y'all needed it because today Dallas got cooked. I mean, damn, we've got major problems. It's talking about coming up to South Beach this next week in Miami. There are some problems they have got to get addressed. We cannot allow any kind of team to rush over let alone 100 yards, 179 yards on the ground on us. Dallas getting cooked today in an all-important game for the AFC, especially the Buffalo Bills. That keeps their playoff hopes alive. I told y'all, man, I'm standing on business. My Super Bowl prediction was the Dallas Cowboys, Buffalo Bills at the end of the year. And with this win today, that keeps the Buffalo Bills playoff chances alive. And speaking of playoffs, if your team has yet to clinch today, if you are one of those NFL teams in our show here today and your team has not clinched, I just want to tell you, cállate la boca.
Cállate, por favor, cállate.
Por favor,
no más.
Cállate la boca, okay? We don't want to hear it. The Cowboys clinch. I will say, however, the Cowboys clinching, it really don't matter if this is the kind of team that is going to show up. We will definitely be done, one and done, if that is the case, with putting up 179 yards on the ground. Like, my goodness.
Listen, what are the chances of that happening to us back to back? It just doesn't work like that with this team, man. Do I feel like we're going to go into South Beach next week and just, do what we want to do? No, not at all. I think we're in for another tough AFC team that has massive firepower. And if we don't have a healthy Zach Martin for that game, that's going to be a fucking problem. If we don't have a healthy Hankins and somebody else that can stay up in the middle, then those guys are going to run on us too, man. And again, will it matter? No, we're already in the playoffs still. But we can't slide into the playoffs losing out. That would be absolutely horrendous, man.
Yeah, I know the Bills will be cheering for the boys against the Dolphins next week. Anthony taps in and says, what happened to the rest back in the Cowboys? What the heck? Yes, when I opened up, I told you, same recipe as last week. The Eagles news broke that officiating crew was basically in favor of the Eagles. The Cowboys had never lost against that officiating crew. The exact opposite happened this week. The Cowboys had the referee crew that came in that had not lost in terms of, this officiating crew with the Dallas Cowboys, and that backfired too as well. I knew something was up with it last week when they particularly came back with it out again this week. And I think now that has become a trend. We're going to see more and more of which crews are going to be in control of games. And now this new narrative of helping shape outcomes is there. But let's take a look at the penalties all together while we're talking about the discipline department, because there was some key penalties on the Cowboys, I believe, that resulted in touchdowns that were a little questionable.
I saw at least 3-4 instances of being held, including during a slow motion highlight at the end of a big play. I remember seeing, I think it might have even been our tight end held with obvious grasp of it. I mean, it's just so odd. It's just very odd, man. But regardless, I think even if you subtract all of those things that they missed, the ones that we actually did do were dumbass fucking mistakes, man. And they cost us.
We only had 5 for 48 yards, and 3 of those actually resulted in touchdowns. I mean, the Buffalo Bills are pretty disciplined at home. Only 1 penalty. I don't know. To me, it looked like Micah Parsons, even though it was ineffective out there tonight, sure looked like he was getting held a little bit. I don't know. He's been complaining about that here lately. But I think even with those little ticky-tack holding calls, those personal foul calls or those touchdowns, that is just too hard to recover from.
Yeah, especially if you can't do anything defensively to stop the momentum of the team already. Now, again, I can only give a little bit of that shit to the refs. I mean, obviously they were giving us 15 yards at a time, including one that got offset, which was bullshit, and then they were headhunting Dak a couple times. But at the same time, man,
from the passer play on Josh Allen by Tank, I believe, looked like the same thing on Dak Prescott in that second half. But the referee was right there and didn't call it. Is the fix in? Gabriel's tapping in, says Dolphins' eyes are wide open on this punk ass game we had. Yeah, I know they didn't have Tyreek today, and they handled the Jets team pretty handily. But the Cowboys still the knock on the road, could not win in Buffalo today in the element. Now have to go down to South Beach on Christmas Eve. Boy, everybody's going to be tapping in for that game, Bob. I mean, this was America's game of the week today, so everybody got to see it as a nationally televised game. The NFL is not stupid. They know how to garner views.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. I guess we can start looking forward here, because we certainly don't want to keep looking at this game. But I don't know. I don't feel like we were ever the team since Dak has been quarterback where we have a game like this and then do the same thing the next week.
Right.
It's almost like it's fucking impossible for that to happen. And Dak
Like
certainly
the
doesn't have
49ers
shit.
loss on the road. Dak goes off, win 5 in a row, something to that effect. I can get down with that, but I'm gonna tell you, this actually helped Buffalo a lot. Buffalo now 8-6, trying to stay alive in that AFC playoff hunt. Like I told y'all, my prediction was the Bills and the boys in the turnover bowl. I mean, we finally seen Dak Prescott throw an interception tonight. I knew that was coming as soon as we was down. I was like, there was a couple passes that could have been picked off tonight. But man, what an all-around shit performance. I mean, I think our one key to victory was special teams of Brandon Aubrey, only one with any points tonight on the board. Cowboys couldn't even get it in the end zone. I mean, we got a lot of things to look at and clean up. I don't know about these adjustments or if there was any made in the second half, especially after we got cooked so much, 170 some odd yards by one player. I don't know what kind of adjustments Dan Quinn need to go and do. If you need to go to the dollar store and buy a bag of adjustments or something, but please, on the way to South Beach, do that because we're going to need some adjustments because this Tua, Tyreek, if we see both Tua and Tyreek in Miami, they are going to look to run it up on the Cowboys, especially on Christmas Eve.
Well, you know, as much as I hate Greg Olson and his commentary, he was actually kind of correct when he was talking about how this defense is not built to continuously stop the run play by play by play by play. It's built to stop the pass, and our offense is built to score. And since neither of those things happened, we were rendered absolutely useless on both sides of the ball. I don't really understand why we couldn't execute on offense. They weren't doing too much complicated shit. But I do believe a lot of our team just looked like they were behind a step the entire time. They weren't running routes that were very crisp. And the times that wide receivers were open, Dak was under pressure. And I think
couldn't find an open man to save him. I think this defense tonight, I mean, it's evident the Bills were holding teams to only 18 some odd points per game. One of the keys to the victory was going to be the Cowboys had to turn over Josh Allen. I don't think there was any turnovers in that game. No fumbles. Well, only Dak Prescott's interception was the only turnover. But, man, you cannot beat a Buffalo Bills team if you cannot turn Josh Allen. And we talked about that coming in as one of the keys to the victory. Matter of fact, the second key to victory after the first got blown out of the water, we couldn't hold them to 100 yards rushing. Second, we didn't even turn Josh Allen over. He looked like he was operating out there in a place of comfortability. I am about to probably hear all week this week the eliteness now of Josh Allen. So much for that Madden cover curse, right?
Yeah, I mean, he came out and played with their ass, man. They all did.
Raul's tapping in says best the Bills looked all season. Replay show Micah being held. What's worse is the boys have to start all over, gaining respect. Yeah, we know the goalpost is being moved heavily now. Now it's being moved all the way since the Cowboys have clinched. Like I said, if you're on here and before you leave me a comment about the Cowboys, if they're not your team, let me know who they are because if your team ain't clinched, we're not responding. But not winning on the road to a 500 team or better. Yeah, here they come moving that goalpost, but Cowboys clinched, and I'm more worried about the fact that we clinched in this game. You know, will this team be the team that shows up in the playoffs? You know, that's my biggest worry as we talk about the inconsistencies of this Dallas Cowboys team. I don't think the element played that much of a part in this game here tonight. I don't think it really started raining until that late in the third quarter, the fourth quarter. It looked like it was pretty clear in that first half, but this offense, like I said, we couldn't get it moving, couldn't get any kind of rhythm. Their defense was there, and then when those 3 personal fouls come and they all result in touchdowns, I mean, the writing's pretty much on the wall. It could be the Arizona Cardinals, and that's going to be a game.
Yeah, it was definitely zero effort, man. We shot ourselves in the foot a couple times and then just never recovered from it again. I honestly felt like we just gave our all trying to and shutting down Philly last week, not letting them score an offensive touchdown the entire fucking game. We absolutely shut down one of the best teams in the NFL last week, and it probably took a lot out of us, man. We certainly didn't look like we were contenders today, man.
Yeah, Jay Marty brings up a good point, especially that fumble, how the Buffalo Bills got off that next play off really fast before they could call that replay. That didn't help. Mike McCarthy and situational leadership on the field. Nothing was going our way at that point. You got to do something. I mean, can you get go in your pocket and get a flag and throw it? But I'm with you, Jay Marley. They should have been challenged that play. I mean, I think that resulted in a touchdown shortly after that too as well. So again, the Dallas Cowboys shooting themselves in the foot on the road, not adding to this MVP discussion for Dak, literally adding more gasoline on the fire of the Cowboys can't win on the road. And the Cowboys can't beat good teams on the road. And that's going to be the knock. We can't wait for the Cowboys to implode in this postseason because after all, I mean, we did clinch. So if you're here today talking, you know the drill. Let me know, did your team clinch or not?
Clinch, we put the work in. We just got to put in more work. That's all.
Yeah, Sam says we aren't worth a damn on the road. Yeah. That's why I bring up that Arizona Cardinals game. I mean, that loss there, definitely in NFC stacking when it comes to playoffs and seeding. I mean, although the Cowboys did clinch today, again, we got bigger fish to fry. We got Tua and Tyreek up. I don't know. I know Tyreek was out this week with Miami against the Jets. So going down to South Beach, Bob, your old stomping grounds. I mean, what's the pulse down there, baby? You hearing anything out of there in South Beach now already? All them folks coming after you out there in South Beach, all them Dolphin fans that you know?
I mean, look, Dolphin fans that are veteran Dolphin fans that live down there in Miami, they know to keep quiet, at least up until the week of. So they're probably snickering right now. I know lots of my family members are definitely giggling a little bit, especially the ones that are down there that are fans. But regardless, it's still going to be a tough game. And it's a little tougher now. I think Tyreek Hill will actually be healthy for that one. So we're going to have our hands full, man, against another strong AFC team that's fighting their ass off too. So, yeah, it's going to be a problem. And the pulse down there is that the Miami Dolphin fans think they definitely could beat the Dallas Cowboys. So,
I mean, they should be licking their chops, especially after looking at this game tonight. I mean, the Cowboys offense just non-existent. Going back and looking at the numbers, I mean, 195 total yards of offense, 106 passing yards, 89 rushing yards, no touchdowns. I mean, Cowboys can't win no games playing like that. I mean, we can look at the defense allowing that many points to get scored. We can look at penalties and look at the refs and look at Vegas and all of that. But if Dak, the MVP Dak, is not putting up any points, I mean, this Cowboys team clearly has no shot. So going to be interesting to see, like you said, the Cowboys, are they going to put two of these games where they're inconsistent back-to-back, or will they bounce back in Week 16 like we need them to, especially against the Dolphins? Because we lose to the Dolphins, boy, that noise is only going to get louder because guess who we got at the end of the month, especially after what we seen last night on what the Detroit Lions did to who they played, the Chicago Bears or somebody. Detroit Lions pretty much smoke checked whoever they played, and we've got them at the end of this month. So tough sledding ahead, a loss on the road in Buffalo. Now we got to go down to South Beach and see Miami, and then we've got to come back home. Only thing we got good cooking for us at home is that home game win streak. But the Cowboys going to need to get this win in Miami, because if we don't get this win in Miami, I'm going to tell you the only road games we're going to see, and they're going to have to count, is going to be in the playoffs. And I'll be scared going in, seeing that this Cowboys team can't win on the road going into the postseason, Bob.
Yeah, that's going to be a big problem, man. That's because that's basically where we're going. Our playoff games will not be at home.
Exactly, Gregory. Any team can win with any given day. We suck. It happens. Dust yourself off. Y'all seen a lot of fans saying, like, man, who is this Dallas Cowboys team out there? What Dallas Cowboys team is that? Like, it's just amazing. After you see a team go on a 5-game win streak, to show up and just be non-existent on both sides of the ball. It almost makes you think, is the fix in? You know what they say about the referees and Vegas out there controlling outcomes of games. I don't know, but I know we got a Monday night matchup because Eagle fans have been over here lightweight excited and tickled on the Dallas Cowboys loss. But I will tell you, Eagle fans in the NFC East, yes, the Cowboys' chances of winning the division definitely decreased, if not disappeared today. Y'all got bigger birds to fry, especially on Monday Night Football. So we're going to circle back and see y'all on that note. But heading into Week 16 now, I mean, Week 15 is in the books. Cowboys going to have to lick their wounds and come on back and get ready to go to South Beach. I don't know. That's an ass whooping. They're going to have to come out and respond totally different. But this ass whooping today, it just feels like it was more than the one in San Fran. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it was pretty bad, man. This is one of the worst losses I've ever seen for this team, especially a team that's this good.
My guy Russell says, double clutching my bong during that game. Let's get ready for Miami. We can't go into Miami like we did today. Hell no, we can't. I mean, the Cowboys may have clinched. We could technically lose all of the games and still be in the playoffs, but I doubt that's gonna happen. So with that being said, I mean, we've punched our ticket, but they're gonna have to figure this out. All this business of not being able to win on the road, especially above, with teams above 500 and good teams like a Buffalo Bills team. This Buffalo Bills team was nothing to sneeze at, although their record was 7-6 coming in this week. I mean, their defense is holding teams to 18 points. Their average 270 some yards in the air. I mean, tonight they had 85 passing yards, and on the ground is where it really killed us. That's our Achilles heel as Cowboys. We can't stop the fucking run. That's why it was the number one key to victory. Can we hold them to under 100 yards rushing today? This defense looked totally different, man. I don't know where they came from. Might be the replacements.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. I know that and I know that what we did was instead of scheming to stop the run, we just created a defense and an offense that didn't really need us to have to stop the run continuously, which is a little weak if you think about it. We're not in there scheming. We're not in there specifically saying this is a run play, let's stuff it. It didn't work that way. Not to mention, we also, when you incur starting middle linebacker injuries like we've had twice already now, it's already tough.
Man, we ain't even talked about the Zach Martin injury. I mean, who knows what's going on with that? That was a big time blow, especially on this offensive line. That definitely affected the offense. So turn on your notifications. We're gonna be tracking that, man. Big Zach. Did you see Big Zach running up there on Dak when they tried to throw that cheap shot on Dak? I like how Big Zach was running up in there with his helmet, but man, he sure enough got hurt. Not too later on in that, and it was one of them inadvertent plays. I was actually more scared about when Micah Parsons had one of the players roll up on his leg. Did you see that in the game? I was like, please don't go to the tent. Oh, my God, we don't need this right about now. But then sooner or later, right on the other side of the ball, we see Zach Martin, a similar type of play, getting injured. Quadricep injury, he was taped up, was ruled out for the rest of the game. We're going to be tracking that to see. That's going to be important, especially for this offensive line headed down to South Beach in Miami. So can't do nothing when your team don't show up, baby. I mean, clearly the Buffalo Bills were a better team today, no matter how you slice it and dice it. Can't point the finger at nobody except for the Cowboys. So I'm going to be curious to see how Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, and Mr. Schottenheimer are all going to look at this heading back before they get to South Beach in Miami, because we got to win in Miami. It's got to be a must win in Miami, because that last game against the Lions is at home, and then I think we got the Commanders, which is a division game on the road. And, well, we know even if we win that game, that road game's not going to matter because of how the haters move the goalposts like they are currently now. They've moved it all the way out of December and into the postseason, saying now we can't wait till the Cowboys go one and done because we clinched. But that's been in the trenches here, baby. It's going to be a short one. Nothing really to talk about and brag about here today. His name is Bob. Over there, I'm BG. Week 15 in the trenches. It's an ugly one. Bills cooked the Dallas Cowboys 31-10 in Buffalo. Bob, you got any parting words of wisdom before we get out of here and head to South Beach, your stomping grounds for this next week?
I've been watching the Cowboys for a long time. Recently, sometimes the bubble just has to burst. We've been playing very well for a long time. I woke up today, people were talking about Dak for MVP and Coach of the Year for McCarthy. And that shit's not going to be talked about at the end of the day today. Anything can happen any day, but the thing is our team just doesn't seem to make these kinds of mistakes two games in a row. So I'm looking for a way more competitive game next week than we think based on what we just saw. I look for us to be prepared and a little bit better, man.
Yep. Got one more game to close out. Actually, we got, the night game tonight and then Monday Night Football. Who's playing tonight? Sunday Night Football.
I have no idea.
I don't either, man. I follow the Cowboys, but let's take a look at the NFL.com real quick before we get out.
I had a 90% chance to win my fantasy game today, and I am currently losing with a 10% chance to win. So the whole day in general has just been a fucking amazing day.
Well, I mean, shit, I've been out of all three leagues pretty much all season. I've been disengaged. I've been ghost riding the whip like I'm from the Bay Area. But you got Baltimore and Jacksonville tonight. That should be a good one, especially in the AFC. Purple Birds or somebody I've been watching. I mean, we done handled the Green Birds. I think the Green Birds going to see some Bluebirds on Monday Night Football, and they'll probably end the Green Birds' happiness, so we won't have to deal with them here anymore. But the Cowboys got to saddle up and head to Miami and South Beach next week You got to lick their wounds after getting cooked at home by Josh Allen, the elite quarterback. Man, it's going to be fun hearing everything all of the 3 and 4 letter networks got to say this week. We get to pay some bills, I guess, right?
Yep, tax this week, all week.
Yep, Cowboys paying that luxury tax of the NFL, but he's bobbing out BG. This is week 15 in the trenches. We appreciate y'all tapping in, especially the haters. And like I said, if you comment on this video after the fact and your team ain't clinched, cállate la boca. We'll see y'all in the gym on the next episode.